Hi everyone. Welcome back to Woo Can Cook. My name is Wesley, and this is a show where we are slowly cooking our way through all of the food from my childhood. Today we are once again diving back into the wonderful weird world of Asian fusion cuisine with a shot at just one of the weirdest and strangest things that I have ever even learned existed, which is a General Tso's poutine. And I mean, let's face it y'all, if you're here watching this channel and this is not the content that you came to expect from me, then I really don't know what else to tell you. We're 4 years deep into the series, y'all. This is where we're at now. I don't know. Anyway, for those unfamiliar, poutine is a classic and iconic dish famously originating from Quebec, Canada, featuring French fries and cheese curds topped with a brown gravy. Traditionally, the dish is known for its combination of savory gravy paired with crispy French fries and, of course, the iconic squeaky texture that comes from cheese curds. As with any dish that has reached the level of iconic cuisine like poutine has, though, a great number of variations on this classic dish also exists too, so for our version today, we're going to be using this as an excuse to explore some of the fundamentals of double frying for our French fries and cheese curds, but then also combining it with a sauce element taken directly from our General Tso's chicken recipe, making use of some mirin, hoisin sauce, doubanjiang, and dried Tian Jin peppers to create its savory and bright qualities that we all know and love. Finally, to pair with all of this, because I mean, why not, we're also going to be making use of the tempura batter that was used in our general chicken recipe to instead coat and fry our cheese curds, yielding a crispy, squeaky, and savory poutine that lives somewhere between pub snacks and Chinese takeout menus. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so kicking things off here first, we're starting off with some aromatic veggies to build the core fundamentals of umami in our General Tso's sauce today. This is 4 cloves of crushed and minced garlic, followed by 1 inch or about 1 tablespoon of fine minced ginger, set aside for our wok fry later on. Then moving on to our potatoes next, I'm going with some skin-on russets sliced into planks, then immediately set aside in a bowl of cold water to prevent it from browning as we work. Now look, I'm not here to debate what style of potato will yield the best French fry. There are plenty of other forums that are far more equipped for that discussion than I am, so prepare your French fries however you want. But I will say that if you are going to use a russet for your French fry, then the crispy texture yielded from leaving the skin on the potato yields maybe one of my favorite French fries of all time. I'll just leave it at that. Moving on to our cheese curds next, I'm starting off here with our tempura batter. This is 2 egg whites that I'm separating from their yolks first, combined with a 1/3 cup each of AP flour to give our batter some color in the fry, and cornstarch to keep it nice and light. I'm rounding this all out with 2/3 cup of soda water to also aid in a light and airy batter. Then I'm mixing this into a smooth batter and combining with my cheese curds. Next up, in a separate bowl, we're assembling our General Tso's sauce. Unlike pretty much every other Chinese popcorn chicken stir-fry dish that you can think of, like orange chicken, sesame chicken, sweet and sour chicken, and so on, a General Tso's chicken is not actually coated in a glaze, but it's instead made using a thickened sauce. Now, you might be wondering, but Wesley, what's the difference? I'm so glad that you asked. While a general chicken, as with all of those other glazed chicken dishes that we mentioned, does contain sugar, a glaze is aggressively reduced, causing the sugars that are in it to condense into the thick and sticky texture that you know from all of those other dishes, basically. A sauce, on the other hand, is lightly reduced, but then it is instead thickened using some form of starch. In today's case, this is going to be a cornstarch slurry. This in turn yields a thick, rich, and far less reduced sauce base, not unlike the way, say, a gravy for a poutine is created. Look at that, this strange bizarro world Canada dish is starting to make sense, y'all. So, up first into my mixing bowl, this is 4 tablespoons or a 1/4 cup of soy sauce to start, followed by a single tablespoon each of rice vinegar and mirin for some brightness, and a teaspoon of dark soy sauce for some richness. Then next, this is a tablespoon each of hoisin sauce and brown sugar for our sweet elements, finally rounded out by a tablespoon of Chinese doubanjiang chili paste for some heat. Last up, just before we head over to the stove, and I mean this should literally be the last thing that you do before you start frying, I'm removing my potatoes from their place in our bowl of water to a dish towel and patting them dry to remove any excess moisture. Russets, as with all potatoes, are filled with water, so we're giving our fryer as much of a head start on burning this moisture off as we can. Over on the stove, I have my fryer coming up to a low 325 degree F temperature using my handy ThermoPro thermometer. Then we're using this low temperature to essentially blanch our potatoes in a par fry to cook off all of the moisture in the potato. You'll notice the fryer is frothing quite a bit, maybe too much? Whoops. Indicating that all of the water in our potato is burning off. This means that once it stops foaming after about 5 to 10 minutes or so, we're about ready to remove our potatoes to cool briefly, then reheating the fryer to 400 degrees F and frying our potatoes for a quick high and fast fry for about 2 to 3 minutes until golden brown and crispy. I'm seasoning these immediately out of the fryer with a bit of kosher salt and gochugaru chili flake, then bringing the fryer down to a 375 degree F temperature so that we may fry our cheese curds next. Okay, so quick lesson learned here. Cheese curds, unlike more heat-resistant cheeses like a cotija, for example, are absolutely prone to melting in the fry, which is less than ideal because we want our curds to hold that shape for that iconic squeaky texture. Obviously, as soon as we introduce the heat, they're going to start melting, which I really wish I had planned better for myself. So, for your own attempts, I would recommend battering and then freezing the curds for about an hour before frying at a 375 degree F temperature for 1 to 2 minutes until golden brown. Ours will still be fine, don't worry, but we did lose a lot of shape in the curd though because they were too soft. Moving on finally to our sauce, I've removed my fryer oil, reheated over high heat, added 2 tablespoons of peanut oil, and as always, long yao for that nice non-stick surface. Then going in here first are my aromatics. This is my garlic and ginger going in for about 15 seconds until fragrant. Then next, these are some dried Tian Jin peppers going in, which were blooming for about 30 to 45 seconds until fragrant too, for some nice aromatic heat going on. Then I'm bringing the heat down to a medium-low temperature and adding in my sauce mixture, then reducing lightly for about 30 to 45 seconds, just to cook off a little bit of the brightness going on. Then next, as promised, here's my cornstarch slurry going in, which we're mixing until a thickened sauce forms before removing from heat. Finally, I'm plating this all up with a bed of French fries to start, followed by our fried cheese curds and of course our General Tso sauce on top, and we're ready to eat. Okay, so look, there are a lot of things to talk about here, but let's start with this might be one of the greatest and best YouTube thumbnails that I think I have ever created. I mean, it's French fries with fried cheese topped with sauce. What's not to like here, y'all? I'll also admit, when I first found out that this dish even existed as a combination, I was frankly a little bit skeptical because just why? Just why are we doing this? Why does this even exist? But I'm here to tell y'all this was really good, and not just because it's fried cheese with sauce, which is obviously always going to taste good, but hear me out. The sauce of a General Tso's chicken is actually pretty well primed to be used as a gravy because that is essentially what it is. It's pretty light on the sugars, which allows for the heat and umami from our soy sauce and peppers to come forward instead, yielding a rich and savory sauce base with a nice depth of flavor, again not unlike a gravy. This paired with our double fried French fries and cheese curds yields a delicious savory combination that just needs to find a home. Is it Chinese food? Is it Canadian? I don't know. Finally, the last thing I'll mention is that while these are absolutely easily the best French fries that I have ever created, they also took a really long time to make. Without a deep fryer, it took something like 3 or 4 batches altogether, which is pretty tough to get through with a low and slow double fry method like this one. So choose for yourselves accordingly, but I will say that a high quality frozen French fry would have taken half the time and would have also served just as well. Okay, so that's it everyone. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you give this one a shot. For those who are new to the channel, this one is part of a larger series that we've been doing that's dedicated to reproducing foods from the Bay Area restaurant scene, so definitely check out that series next if you haven't yet because there's a lot of these. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, be nice YouTubers, and I'll see you soon.